I have little doubt at this point that Donald Trump is going to attempt to somehow interfere with, cancel, switch the results of the 2026 midterm elections. And I say that mostly based on reporting just from the last week, stories that I've talked about, right? The fact that the city of Miami, the Republicans who control it, canceled this year's elections. Like they just said, nope, we're not going to do it. We'll do it next year. Hopefully, if they can cancel it once, they can cancel it as many times as they want. Then, of course, you had Donald Trump coming out this week saying of Zohran Mamdani this week, I hold all the cards, I hold all the levers, I'll fix this. Implying that he, as president of the United States, can overturn a democratic election in this house. In this country, excuse me. Not to mention the fact that after the 2020 election, he attempted to overturn those results. There's a lot riding on next year's midterms. Republicans are facing a massive shellacking, which would make Trump a lame duck for the next 2 years. They're going to do something. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. I'll get more to that in just a minute, but first, a quick word from today's video sponsor. For weeks now, all we've heard is how Trump's beautiful bill will slash Medicaid. But almost nobody is talking about what his MAGA loyalists slipped into this bill. Go to ground.news/Farron to see how they're trying to block judges from enforcing court orders unless you pay a bond first. Highly credible sources warn most Americans can't actually afford to do this. So if this bill passes and Trump violates the law, it wouldn't even matter. This is the GOP's flood the zone strategy. Distract us with headlines and bury the real power grab. And it's why I think Ground News is the best tool to expose these blind spots before it's too late. My partners built the only app and website pulling in news from across the globe, then breaking down each source's bias, credibility, and the stories the right tries to bury. And considering most people take the first headline they see as fact, if you're reading the news somewhere else, their browser extension will flag the source's bias and link other credible reports so you can verify the information. Ground News is a better version of how we're already staying informed. So I got my viewers 40% off the same unlimited access Vantage plan I've been using. That's $5 per month when you go to ground.news/Farron, scan my QR code, or click the link in the description. With at least another 4 years of this, they're counting on you to be distracted. This app is how you stay focused. During an interview this week on the Jim Acosta show, political strategist James Carville also expressed his concern and belief that Donald Trump is going to do something to try to steal the midterm elections next year. Here's how that conversation went down. Jim Acosta asked James Carville, quote, "Do you worry Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, some of these types monkeying around with the midterms and the way we do elections in this country with what they're trying to pull these days? They don't want accountability. They don't want Democrats getting the gavels in the House and the Senate and be able to hold hearings and start impeachment proceedings and so on. I mean, you worry about that, James?" To which Carville responded, and I will not do the impression, in a short word, yes. In the longer words, very. I don't put anything past him, nothing, to try to call the election off, to do anything he can. He can think of things that we can't because we're not accustomed to thinking like that. People come up to me all the time and say, "James, I'm really scared." I said, "You should be. You have every reason to be scared. Don't kid yourself." And then Acosta jumps in and said, "This is scary shit." And Carville said, "Yeah, it's really scary. Really scary." Again, Republicans are already canceling elections. Trump is already threatening to undo New York's Democratic primary, even though he has no authority to do that even as president. These people will do something. 2 weeks ago, I wasn't so sure about that. I thought, it's not going to happen. I don't believe that anymore. Watching what's happening in this country, you can't look at next year's midterms and think that everything is going to be fine. It's not. They're already doing things. They're already threatening things. And Donald Trump has a whole host of things at his disposal, right? Not only can he have these states start changing the rules, because states are allowed to do that. We've already seen them try to fiddle with things in elections like early voting, mail-in voting, all that kind of stuff to suppress the vote, voter ID laws. Hell, Trump could declare a war and try to scare people into going back to the Republicans. Wag the dog type situation here. There's all kinds of things he can do. Things that, as Carville points out, we haven't even dreamed of yet. And we can't put anything past these people that have already tried to do this. So yes, I worry too. I do think they're going to try to do something because they're already doing things. And the reason that Trump would do this, of course, is because everything is riding on next year's midterms. Republicans right now, based on how unpopular they are, how unpopular their legislation is, and based on people's perceptions of the direction of the country, which is overwhelmingly negative, Republicans are probably going to lose the House and they likely could lose the Senate. If they lose all of that, if they lose the entire legislative branch, Trump can't do a damn thing for the final 2 years of his term. He is the lamest of lame ducks. Nothing he wants will happen. And that would piss him off. He would be angry. But more importantly, he would also face a third impeachment where we could probably easily get him impeached in the House, maybe not removed in the Senate, but, who knows. So his political future, his future in general, all of this hinges on next year's midterms. And he knows it, and the Republicans know it. So they have the motive, they have the means. And when you have both of those things together, right, the reason for doing it and the ability to do it kind of tells us they're probably gonna do it. Did you know that you might be missing out on wonderful content from me? I mean, you're here already because clearly you like what you see. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video, share them with your friends and family, but also follow me across the rest of the social media world. And it's not that hard to do. Whether it's X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, on every one of those platforms, you can find me at the username @FarronBalanced. Simple enough, right? So get on it. And if you don't feel like going to each one of those outlets individually, lucky for you, we have links in the description of this video to take you right to my pages across all of social media. So don't miss a minute. And while you're at it, make sure you're also subscribed to the Ring of Fire YouTube channel, which I have been hosting for many, many years now. We've got more than 1 million subscribers over there, and there is fresh content over there every single day of the week. So again, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to this channel. And while you're at it, go subscribe to Ring of Fire at youtube.com/The Ring of Fire and @FarronBalanced across every social media platform that, of course, is not considered just a far-right hellscape. Well, maybe Twitter is, but that's a story for a different day.